full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes, it's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Open the pod bay doors,
Keep your friends close, but your enemies close.
I am nothing! No one!
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Get busy learning. You get busy dying.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Cinemaze, a podcast where a bunch of mates chat about cinema over some drinks. So today I'm joined by my friend Jen. Jen, thanks for coming on. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me. Feeling a bit worse for wear today.
Yes, myself included. So great day for a podcast, obviously. We're going to be spinning some very intellectual stuff in this episode. So today we'll be diving into what I think is one of the most iconic 2000s sitcom TV shows. So it's going to be a legend, wait for it, dairy episode. We are talking about How I Met Your Mother. Apologies for that. So specifically, we're going to be breaking down season 9. And more specifically, we're going to be breaking down the finale, which, if you have seen How I Met Your Mother, there is a bit of controversy about how the TV show concluded. So we've got a lot to unpack, and to help us get through that, we're going to be drinking some Stone & Woods today. So just their Pacific Ale, pretty standard.
Not
So
sponsored.
No, not sponsored, but still nonetheless a great beverage to have while chatting about cinema. So let's get straight into it. As per, what we've done on the previous episodes, we like to get a bit of an idea of who our guest is and what they like to watch, because everyone has different tastes and preferences with cinema. So we are going to do a bit of a question game. So the first few questions will be kind of divisive ones, and then we'll get into some more deep ones.
Okay.
So first question, jumping straight in, Christopher Nolan or Martin Scorsese?
I'm going to say Martin Scorsese, based off not a lot of knowledge, to be quite honest with you. You will learn I have really basic taste,
Yep.
but I would
That's
just
okay.
know more of what he's done.
Okay, and you prefer his films
Yes.
over Nolan's?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. He does have some very, very good ones, so not wrong there. Second question, Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones?
Seen neither.
Seen neither? What?
Awesome. I know, it's terrible.
What have you been watching?
Well, I don't like fantasy stuff that much.
Okay.
So Game of Thrones
Game of
never appealed
Thrones,
to me. And I
yep.
think I caught on too late anyway. Like, isn't it? It's a lot to watch. It's not
It
an
is.
easy watch.
It's 8 seasons. I
Yeah.
think there's kind of
Long episodes.
10 to 15 episodes per season, so there is a lot to get
some pretty
through.
wild stuff. So
Yeah.
neither, but I would be more likely to watch Breaking Bad, and I should
Okay.
actually. It's on the list.
Yeah, definitely. Well, both of them. But, if you don't like fantasy, which is absolutely okay, definitely give Breaking Bad a watch.
Okay.
Very, very iconic show. Next question, Tom Hanks or Leonardo DiCaprio?
Leo, obviously.
Why did
Come
I even
on.
ask? Do you like his movies?
Yeah,
or do
I
you just
actually
like
think
how
he's
he
really
looks?
good. I think he's a great actor. I like how Tom Hanks looks too.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's a really good actor, and again, seen a lot more of what he's done.
Yeah, fair enough. He's a great actor. One of the greats. So, next question, Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter?
Harry Potter,
Okay,
definitely.
yeah. Going off that sort of fantasy realm,
I know.
that's fair enough as well. And this next question will be quite telling of the episode, Friends or How I Met Your Mother?
How I Met Your Mother, obviously seen both,
Yeah.
and both are good to rewatch.
Yeah,
I feel like they're a hungover watch.
Absolutely.
It's just so easy, but How I Met Your Mother for sure.
yeah. Very easy television, and 20-minute episodes.
Yeah,
is
I'm an
so
easy watch kind of person.
For sure. Okay, so into the deeper ones. First kind of deep question. Most memorable movie you saw in cinemas?
I reckon Black Panther.
Black Panther?
Yeah, I just loved it. I went with Hannah Gori, and I just hadn't been to the movies in ages, and so I got really excited about it because I just think going to the movies is so fun.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I thought it was such a good movie. I was just sitting there in awe. And the music, I loved the soundtrack. I
yeah.
listened to it before watching the movie.
Wow.
So that got me into it.
Oh,
It was a
really?
great
Before you'd
soundtrack,
seen it?
yeah.
Yeah, great soundtrack. I think, it was one of the, sort of pioneering
Yeah,
superhero
for
movies,
sure.
I would say. And, great performances, great cast. So definitely a good one there. We have actually had another guest, Pat, say the same thing. So Black
Right.
Panther has had a big impression on people.
There you go.
Next question, fastest TV show binge.
Going along the lines of Pat, I did listen to that episode, Sex Education. I watched
Really?
it so
That was a quick
all
binge?
seasons. I've watched literally within a day or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my, one day. Jesus.
Season 1, I
Oh
think,
my
yeah.
God.
It was a dark time.
That is very fast. Wow, that's some impressive numbers there. Next question, a movie that you, or TV show that you think everyone needs to see.
This is, again, very telling of my taste and how basic I am.
Yeah.
And I was tossing up if we should talk about it on the show, but I was like, I don't think he's seen it.
Yeah.
She's the Man.
Oh, is that Amanda?
Bynes,
Yeah.
I'm
Is that where
obsessed with that movie.
she dresses up as a
boy,
guy? Yeah.
Channing Tatum.
Wow.
Oh my God, it's great.
Great.
So,
Okay.
so good.
Have
you not seen
I
it?
don't think I've seen it, or I don't think I've seen the whole thing.
I've seen it so many times.
Okay.
That was one of the first movies I feel like I remember watching and really liking.
Yeah.
Everything else before that I was just young and didn't really care. But that I just became obsessed.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. No.
Love my soccer girls.
Yeah. No. It is quite like an iconic kind of teen movie.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. And it's based off it's one of those ones that's really loosely based off Shakespeare.
Oh really?
Midsummer.
Really?
I don't know my Shakespeare.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Maybe I should actually give it a watch.
Yeah, you should.
So next question and final question. TV show that you're watching at the moment.
Drive to Survive because of
nice.
your recommendation. It's so good.
Insane.
Yeah.
And I think we were literally talking about this. Drive to Survive on Netflix, you don't even need to have an interest in motorsports to appreciate it.
Yeah, I had none, and I still don't know if I would be able to sit and watch the sport.
It is quite long.
Yeah, the nature of it, but I am so interested in the politics, the money. It's so cool.
It's so cool. And they literally show everything. It's all access.
Yeah.
It is great. And at the moment, I don't know if you've seen, but Verstappen and Hamilton are tied on points in real life at the moment. And today, as we're recording, is a historic battle for who's going to win the final race of the season. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's really exciting.
So that season, if it comes out, of Drive to Survive will be great. Before we actually break down How I Met Your Mother, if you haven't seen it, big spoiler warning here, but to the listeners who haven't seen the show, what would you say, Jen, about the TV show, in a few sentences? Would you recommend it?
Yeah, absolutely would recommend. I just think it was such a good sitcom. Before that, there was obviously a lot. There's Friends and Seinfeld and those kind of how they were filmed, but this one was a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. I thought it was so good. They do the funny stuff really well. I think it's really well written. And they do the sad stuff well too.
They do.
It's not... It doesn't feel forced or out of place. They
No.
do it. They put it in really nicely, and there's a few episodes I cried. I cried this morning watching the finale.
Did you?
But I think that might be because I'm a bit.
A bit of both.
Yeah.
No, I think How I Met Your Mother is great. It's really easy to watch. 20-minute episodes. There are quite a lot of episodes, 9 seasons, 20 or so episodes per season, but it takes you on a ride, as you said, emotionally, and it is very funny. There's some iconic sort of one-lines, especially from one of the characters, Barney Stinson. Yeah. So it is a great show to watch. So I remember I would always watch it after school and stuff. It would just be on TV, and very good show to watch. So I would definitely recommend it for those who haven't.
Sure.
So now we're going to jump into it. So as we said, we're going to be talking about the final season, season 9, and specifically the finale. So the finale takes place over the final 2 episodes, and it really was the end of a 10-year run or however long the show was. So there was a lot of anticipation as to, what was going to happen, who was Ted going to end up with. So Ted is obviously the main character, Ted Mosby. So if you haven't seen it in a while, just a bit of a recap. So at this point in time, Ted, most of the season takes place at Robin and Barney's wedding. And just after the wedding, at the reception, Ted has to leave to move to Chicago. Did he get a new job or something? Is that why he's leaving?
Yeah, I think it was a job, yeah.
Yeah. And so he sees the future mother, Tracy, playing the bass guitar at the wedding. And kind of is almost falls in love with her straight
it's a love
away.
at first sight.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that wasn't there hype that whoever he was going to marry was going to play bass. Was that?
Yeah, that was like always alluded to.
Yeah.
That's why I think it was well written, because the writers had all these gimmicks and like storylines in the beginning in season 1 that actually came to fruition. Like
100%. And like, obviously, you know, the uniqueness of the show is that it's or most episodes start with Ted narrating and like talking to his kids, saying like how he met the mother. So there's a lot of you know, as you said, those little gimmicks that actually come to fruition, and you kind of remember them, and it makes the show really good.
Yeah.
So Ted is having to leave the wedding. Barney was like on the dance floor talking to Tracy, the future mum, playing the bass, because he'd seen her earlier in the season.
They all had their own stories with her, which I thought
they
was
did,
so cute.
yeah. And like they all didn't really know like who she was or who she was going to be. So Barney wants to introduce Ted and play one last game of Have You Met Ted?
Great game.
Great game. Ted is all like, nah, like I don't want to. I've got to leave like right now. And it's like, oh, damn it. And then so Ted says his goodbye to all the gang. It's very emotional. I can understand why the tears would come out. And he says bye to them one by one. It's very nostalgic. Like they all have their little inside jokes with each other. And he then goes to the train station and it's raining, and he's been speaking to this old woman who's also there for most of the season. And lo and behold, Tracy is there with her yellow umbrella, which has, you know...
recurring motif.
Yeah, the motif. English. Nice. We see she's there, and Ted's all like nervous, like, and the old woman's like, oh, you got to go up to her. And like, he finally does towards the end of, I think, the second last, or is it the last episode?
No, I think it's the second last.
Yeah.
And they go into it after.
Yeah. And then it kind of flashes, before he goes to speak with her, it flashes forward, 3 years ahead, and Ted and Tracy are now like together, and they're planning a wedding at like a French castle.
Very Ted Mosby.
Yeah, and massively Ted Mosby written all over it. And they have a kid. She's pregnant and she has a kid, and then Barney and Robin are having some marriage troubles on the side. At this point in the story, Robin is, becoming very big with her reporting. She's like traveling around the world and that sort of thing. Yeah. And so Barney and Robin are having some troubles. They end up getting divorced. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I was not happy with that. And that ties into like the whole ending of the show as well.
Yeah.
I was just so on board with it. Like they made us fall in love with it. I thought they were such a good pairing as well. Like they made a lot more sense than Ted and Robin.
Yeah, and like absolutely. And there's so much to unpack here. So so literally it's like a montage or not a montage. It's like it probably takes place in about 3 minutes of the episode. The whole season is at the wedding, and then they like kind of break it off and end up getting divorced. And I just thought it was a bit rushed.
Yeah,
it is obviously like a short show episode lengthwise, but I thought it was very rushed. And as you said, we have like been on this ride of Barney being the like most typical playboy bachelor the whole time. They were together before, him and Robin, and then they ended up like, having that stage where Barney got really fat and Robin wasn't like I wasn't sure what the word was for that, but and then they split off, and then he was it Nora next?
Oh yeah. I forgot about her. And she had Kevin.
Yeah,
I didn't really like.
Who's Kevin?
Therapist.
Yeah, true.
That as a concept is just weird.
Kumar, he's off Harold and Kumar. That was very weird.
I did not appreciate that.
Yeah, it was a weird dynamic. And then Barney starts a relationship with Quinn.
The stripper.
And then we've gone from he's like, got his playbook. He's like got the perfect week where he sleeps with 7 women in 7 days.
Good episode.
And then he's like in these relationships, like he, I think he even proposes to Quinn.
They were close.
And so, we've been on this journey with Barney and Robin respectively, and then like, he's finally matured, he's finally grown up, and then they get divorced, and it's just...
And they put him back to, like, where he started, where he was a playboy and everything.
Yeah.
He did a perfect month.
He
and, like,
did.
I was just like, what was the whole point of having this character development, which I loved. I thought it was so good, and I love Barney as a character. And then they just, like, started him from scratch again.
Literally. And it's, like, 9 seasons, and they just go straight back.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that is where a lot of the controversy of the show and the finale has come. Anyway, and then we get to, at this point as well, Lily and Marshall are living at Ted's old apartment.
Yeah.
And they have, like, a party because they're moving out as well. And Robin is very busy. She doesn't even see the gang anymore.
Yeah.
They're kind of at McLaren's together. You know, without her, and it's like
that made me sad. All
yeah,
that stuff, and like Lily got so upset about it.
Yeah, Lily's like been very, you know, kind of crushed by it. So Robin bumps into Ted on the street, and he's got his kids there, and they kind of start teasing that Robin has feelings for Ted again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, where's this going?
I know.
Like,
I remember watching that for the first time and being like, oh god, it's just like, what's the saying? Beating a dead horse or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is like the literally. That is like the perfect description of that. So Robin and Lily are speaking at the party, and, you know, Lily gets quite emotional, as you said, and they kind of cry it out because the gang is ending. You know, they're not like together. Everyone's kind of diverged with with their own parts. So that's the second last episode. And then we get to the final episode. So, you know, 9 seasons comes down to this. And I think it starts at everyone is at McLaren's but Robin again, kind of connoting to her not really being there anymore. And then Barney wants to, like, party because he's back to his, like,
again.
And he, like, wants to go out till like 4 a.m. and Ted's like a dad now, so he's like, nah, like 9, very tame, like 9 p.m. bedtime and stuff. And, you know, everyone else is settling down but him, so it's kind of this it's back to that original dynamic, as you said. And then Marshall finds out that he's going to become a judge.
Huge.
Which I thought was really good. What did you think of him?
I
like getting
that.
to that?
Yeah, finally, because that was talked about a lot. I feel like his job weirdly was
it was quite a
big role in the show, which is kind of strange to think about.
Yeah, funny you mention that. Like, it is quite a big part of the show, and like not really. Oh no, I guess everyone's jobs are quite big as well.
Yeah,
but
Barney's job. What did you think of that? You know how he always said, when people asked what he did for work, and he said, oh, please. And it was an acronym for what he was actually doing.
Yeah, what was the acronym again?
Oh, God, I can't remember what it was, but he basically was feeding information to the feds, and then...
Oh, really?
Yeah, don't you remember this?
Completely...
I loved
did
that.
not remember that.
Funny.
Like, I remember he worked at Glythe National Bank.
Yeah.
And, like, was very dodgy and stuff.
Yeah, all the people he worked with were, like, really fucked, and he... got out of it by colluding with the feds and giving them all the information they needed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was a funny...
That was a good one.
It was. And, like, I feel like that really was a part of his character. And also, wasn't he, like, a barista at a cafe before?
Yeah, when he was a hippie.
In the Peace Corps or whatever. Yeah. That was very funny. That was, like... Oh, Barney has been on an absolute journey. So, yeah that is great. Which
feeds more to the point why it's annoying that they...
Yeah.
Him back again.
For sure. So at this point in the episode, Barney says that he's never going to end up with anyone, and that if it didn't happen with Robin, like, then it wasn't really going to happen with anyone else, because, you know, Robin's obviously such a great person. Yeah, absolutely. And, like, if he was to really change and settle down, he thought that was going to be with her, but it just didn't work out, apparently, which I don't agree with. Anyway, so it's, you know, fast forward some more years, and they're at Robots versus Wrestlers, which is like the classic, like, doppelganger where Ted, like, found himself and stuff. Mexican wrestler Ted. And so Ted and Tracy, they still haven't got married, but they've, you know, had a kid. They have been together, you know, a few years now.
Yeah. I liked their storyline as well, that it wasn't just this linear... they date and got married thing, because I feel like that would be so boring. And I know that's what Ted probably would have envisioned, but I kind of love that they spiced it up a bit for him.
They did. And, like, you know, the whole show has been building up to him getting married. But, like, yeah, as you said, they kind of didn't just give it to us.
Yeah.
Which was very good. And so at Robots versus Wrestlers, Barney, as you said before, has been going for a perfect month.
Disgusting.
Oh, he would have to have, like, so many STIs.
Yeah.
And, like, illnesses. But, yeah, perfect month. So 30 or 31 women in a row. Yeah, which is crazy. And he also he remade the playbook again. Because I think he destroyed it earlier.
Yeah, for Robin.
Yeah. So he's straight back to square one with the playbook again. He does complete it. But the last girl, number 31, was pregnant.
I know.
So, what did you think of that?
I kind of, I liked him having a kid. The scene where he holds his baby daughter for the first time was so cute. That was it. Come on, tears, surely.
I was, like, on the verge of tears. I haven't cried at that many TV shows and movies, but
yeah,
that was very emotional. And, like, despite him going back to that playboy ways, it was very nice to be, like, seeing him as a father. And it really at least got his journey to being, you know, more mature.
Yeah, exactly.
And stuff.
Which is probably why they did it, I would assume. Because otherwise they would have left him a bit unfinished. I feel like they needed something to ground him, or, you know, whatever it was. And I quite liked it. It made me think, I don't know how that hasn't happened before, considering how many women. I wonder if he counted for the seasons how many women he slept with.
Yeah.
It would be
like, surely there are so many children out there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually such a funny point that you mentioned that. Like, he would have to have so many kids. Like,
I know, there's no way.
It'd be mathematically, he's got more kids than just the one. But it was a very touching moment, and like he says that she's I think her name's Ellie, the daughter, and he says that she's the love of his life, which was a very nice moment.
Cute, yeah.
Very, very nice. And so at the same time, Robin, you know, still very consumed by her work, being a reporter and traveling around everywhere. Head re-proposes to Tracy, because they still haven't got married after 7 years and 2 children.
Oh, was that the time that was at 7 years?
I think they'd been together for 7 years, but been engaged for 5 years.
Yeah,
which
okay.
Ted says that, like, you know, under the state law, you have to get engaged after 5 years. So he does it, and it's quite a cute moment. And then because of that, he's just like, screw it, let's just get married on, like, next Thursday.
Yeah.
And so they just, like, do it. And so they meet at McLaren's. They're all ready. They're all ready for the wedding. Except Tracy is obviously elsewhere because it's bad luck to see the bride in the dress before. But then Robin shows up and meets everyone at McLaren's, having, not seen them in ages. And I think Lily kind of said that everyone always had to be there for the big moments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
that was one of them.
That was definitely one of them. So she comes back. The mother, we find out that Tracy, the mother, had actually organised that.
I think it was so nice.
Yeah.
I like how she came into their group and obviously didn't take it over or anything.
Yeah,
and,
but she
facilitated all the relationship. It was really cute.
100%. And she, like, fitted in quite well.
Yeah, very well.
I thought that was a very nice touch and was probably fitting, you know, if whoever Ted was going to end up with, they obviously had to, you know, be able to, you know, cement themselves in the group as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I thought that was a very nice moment. And then within kind of the last, like, 5 minutes or so, they've gotten married, and it then fast forwards to Tracy, the mum, getting sick out of nowhere.
I know.
And I feel like because it was so quickly done, they probably couldn't delve into why she was sick and all that sort of stuff.
I feel like they didn't need to give a reason. Like, they were killing her off, basically.
So what did you think about her being sick? And, you know, if you haven't seen it, huge spoiler. I don't know why you would have listened this far, but if you haven't seen it, she ends up passing away. So what did you think about that?
I was devastated.
Yeah.
Why would you do Ted so dirty like that?
After 9 seasons, she dies.
I know. So I feel like they just didn't do her justice, because I really liked her. Like, she was in it for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
I loved the character. And I was just so sad for Ted, but I did see it coming because I feel like before, when the last season was airing, people were obviously had their theories and they post about it, whatever. So I think I saw on like an Instagram or something like that a post about it and someone saying, this is my theory. He's telling the kids about the story because their mum's dead and he's gonna end up with Robin. So I'd read it before and I was like, makes sense, but I hope it's not true. Yeah. But when it happened, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, jeez. Yeah, I don't know how I felt like. And also, that's an interesting point. Like, I hadn't even thought about that. Why would Ted be telling this story? Yeah. If she was like, you know, still in their lives. And I
know, it made sense.
Yeah, so it did make sense. But I thought it was, again, a bit rushed. Same with Robin and Barney splitting up. I thought, you know, he just says out of nowhere. And then it was tough, like, when she was sick. And I was like, what? Like, what's going on? Did she get better or... Oh, no, like, she's gone.
And they alluded to it a little bit throughout the season, like in the earlier episodes of season 9 when they showed Ted and Tracy together and they're at the wedding venue and it, like, keeps jumping in between the... when he's with Tracy in the future and the wedding with Barney and stuff. And they alluded to it a little bit there, I feel. Because because in the dining room of the wedding venue, he was telling Tracy a story about, you know, Barney and Robin's wedding. And so they had the 2 scenes in the 2 different time frames of him, like, looking back. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm, like, doing all these hand gestures. I'm clicking.
I don't know. Maybe my brain isn't working.
He, like, got really upset when he was talking to her and alluded to the fact that she wasn't going to be there in future.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
I think they were talking about the daughter's wedding. And he was like, oh, I hope you're there or something. And then they sort of looked at each other and there was that moment of, oh my God, she's not.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. I think no. We got there. We got there in the end. I think I must have missed that, but I think that it was obviously alluded to earlier in the season, but I thought the concept was good, but a bit rushed in my opinion. It was a bit quick. Like, we were starting to like her, starting to get attached to her, and then she's taken away from us. And Ted.
I know.
Poor Ted. He's been through the ringer. He tells his children this huge story about how he met her.
Poor kids.
Actually, fun fact, I heard that they'd actually filmed the kids' reaction to... So the kids, they actually filmed all their scenes during the filming of the first season.
Yeah. So because they never age and they're always wearing the same clothes.
And like, true. It's the same, like, quality. And they'd already done their reaction. That meant that the storytellers knew that was going to be the ending. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I think I did know that because I was watching one of the times I've rewatched the whole thing so many times. It's absurd. But one of the times I rewatched, I noticed at the end, it just didn't click for me before. But the kids, obviously, they'd filmed that last scene in season 9, but they hadn't aged from season 1. I was like, okay, so this was their plan the entire time, which I guess is kind of a good thing. Like, it's why, I said it earlier, why it was so well written. Like, they followed through with things. They didn't forget about shit, basically.
100%.
So they had a plan, and it wasn't like Gossip Girl, where I feel like they're like, shit, someone needs to be Gossip Girl. And they just made it, someone really made it down, and it was just really stupid. Yeah. So they had a plan, but I didn't like the plan.
Yeah, me either. I didn't like it either. And I think that's where, you know, a lot of fans were quite annoyed, but, you know, good on them for sticking with it. Like, you know, as you said, Gossip Girl kind of, I feel like they kind of just jumped to an easy conclusion.
Should we break down Gossip Girl?
Maybe we should in a future episode. Yeah, and then so we get a flashback to when Ted meets Tracy. She's already passed away, but, you know, we see them first talking. And they just, like, hit it off immediately. He's, like, telling her, like, oh, you were Cindy's old roommate who he, like, kind of had a thing with back in the day. And then, obviously, the umbrella, he Did she steal it? Or was it his or hers
It
originally?
was hers. She left it at the St. Paddy's Day party.
That's right.
He picked it up, and then he left it when he was dating the roommate.
Yeah.
And she got it back.
Yeah.
Which was cute.
So
she was in
yeah.
his class, the
Yeah.
economics
Yeah.
class.
Econ 305. Was that when he was talking about architecture and they were like, this isn't...
It was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wrong room, babe.
That was classic. So yeah, they hit it off immediately. It was a very nice moment. And then we get the thing we've been waiting for, and he's like, and they're like, kids, that's how I met her.
That's the story.
And that's it. And it's like, wow. Huge. And then, yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So this is the controversial point that really annoyed me. Okay. So
angry.
it really grinded my gears. So Ted is like, that's the story. And then the kids just immediately go, having just listened to the story, they go, no, like, Mum's barely been in the story. I think this is quote unquote, Mum's barely been in the story. This is about how you're totally in love with Aunt Robin.
Oh.
And I was just like, what? Like, your mum has passed away.
He's not even cold. They're like, whatever.
Yeah, and like, okay, so they say that Tracy's been gone for 6 years at the time. Very cold. And like, what? They want their dad to...
I know.
Get together with this aunt who's like their family friend.
So strange. And again, like, they obviously wrote the entire thing in mind and they kept to it and stuff, which is great. But I don't get why, if they knew the story was to be that he would end up with Aunt Robin, why they wouldn't make us like them more as a couple. Like, I never didn't like them. I thought they were cute in whatever, in season 1 or whenever they actually dated. But then they fully closed the book on it, I reckon. I didn't see it coming again. I was like,
me either.
Shut, they don't really work, whatever. And she married Barney, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so they closed the book and then they just like brought it back up again. I was like, if you knew that was going to be the ending, that's fine. But I feel like they should have made us like that option a little bit more.
Yeah. Again, like, bit rushed. They alluded to it a tiny bit, but I just didn't see it happening. And like, she's this big reporter and stuff. Like, how would that even work?
Yeah, exactly. She's
if
traveling.
it didn't work with Barney.
Got kids.
Yeah.
And
he's got like
if
two.
If it didn't work with Barney, it surely can't work with anyone else. I don't get it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I didn't like it. And then icing on the cake, Ted goes to Robin's apartment with the blue French horn. Classic, like, she looks down from her window in her apartment.
Yeah.
And they both just smile. It really came full circle.
But in an annoying way.
Yeah. Oh.
I didn't like it.
I am speechless. Like, we rewatched it for this episode, and I just was like, no.
Gets worse.
This
every time you watch
it. This can't be real.
I know.
Oh, anyway,
it was silly.
Not a good ending.
They should have left it a little bit more open with them, and like, I get they didn't want to spoil it. Obviously, it was supposed to be a twist.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't like Barney and not Barney, Ted and Robin by the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I think as you said, the book was shut, so I didn't think that was the ending most people were expecting. So if you're listening
Barney
in
as well. Dog act.
Yeah, poor Barney, how's he gonna deal with funny you say that. That's just like blown my mind. So what's Barney gonna think? He's got his daughter now, but what's Barney gonna think?
I know, you'd be pretty angry.
That dynamic. Oh my God. Wow, when you put it like that, it makes no sense.
He's a dog.
Ted Mosby. Ted is I don't even know. I don't even know. Ted Mosby,
You used to remind me a bit of Ted Mosby.
Me?
Yeah, I used to call you Ted Mosby all the time.
You did. If you're listening in, let us know what you thought of that ending. Very controversial. Did you like Ted with Robin together? What did you think of it? Were you happy with the ending? Or, like us, did it annoy you? But overall, How I Met Your Mother was an absolute classic. One of the great shows of our generation, I feel. And, very unique storytelling. I thought it was very cool that the whole series was, and the title of the series even, is, just a story.
Yeah.
Which is very cool. So I thought, absolutely great great television show.
Yeah.
Very easy watch. Where does How I Met Your Mother sit for you amongst all the TV shows you've watched?
Great show. One of my favourite, and I can rewatch it too. I'm a big rewatcher, so if I can do that, it's fun. I love it. It'll be one of my favourite shows forever, I reckon.
Definitely.
And like, obviously not a great ending, but with shows like that have run for so long, I never get too set on having a good ending. Because I feel like you can't please everyone, and the whole point is just to keep people entertained along the way. And I feel like I feel like there'd be so much pressure to do a good ending.
For sure.
So I've never been too riled up by the endings. I'm like, okay, it wasn't a great ending, but great show.
Definitely. And I feel, as you said, it's so easy to rewatch and binge. There's so many like iconic episodes, you know, the doppelgangers we talked about, the perfect week,
the naked man episode,
and like the best burger in New York. Oh, there's so many
episodes.
Suits,
they did that well.
They did that.
Chucked in a musical number without being too cringe.
Oh, How I Met Your Mother is great. So, you know, if you've spoiled it for yourself and come this far, watched it. It is really good, despite, you know, the ending that maybe we didn't expect.
Yeah.
So now that we're done with How I Met Your Mother, now there's news of, if you didn't know already, the directors and creators of the show, How I Met Your Mother, have announced a spin-off series called How I Met Your Father, starring Hilary Duff as the lead. What do you think about like that idea?
I actually forgot about it until you mentioned it today.
Yeah.
That was happening. I think it's fun. I don't think it'll ruin the show. Like, obviously How I Met Your Mother was its own show and it was great. I don't know, again, beating a dead horse. I don't know why they do this with every show that does well. Let's drain all the money out of this that we can and make another one. And I don't know how it'll go, and like, love you Hilary Duff, but I did see that casting and I was like, oh, it might be a bit just cringe and like...
I don't know.
It'll be a really modern world, and
it will.
They'll talk about... I don't know why I find it so weird when it's like with the Gossip Girl reboot. I haven't seen it, but the whole thing's based around, I think, like Instagram. And I just find it really jarring when they shove that in modern shows. And it's like all tech savvy. And I don't know, if you think about it in the lens of How I Met Your Mother, it's just a really weird concept.
It seems... I'll give it a watch, but I myself included, I think that it will be weird being in a modern day. So, you know, Hilary Duff is playing the protagonist called Sophie, and she's going to be narrating it as with How I Met Your Mother, and telling her son the story of how she met her father as per the TV show's name. So it's coming out on January 18th next year on Hulu. And it's set in New York City as well. There's going to be a group of close-knit friends. So it's going to be very much like the original show, but I wonder how it's going to go.
It'll go. I don't know. And I wonder if they'll try and allude to the original, like How I Met Your Mother. I don't know. Like, will Sophie be Ted's like distant niece?
Will
or something?
It be related? I wonder.
Are they going to try and fully overlap the worlds and stuff?
You think?
I feel like they'd be silly not to. I feel like
if they're going to recreate it, I feel like they would bring someone back. Maybe Barney, because he's like a bachelor now.
Ranjit, character. I don't know how we skipped over him.
He deserves his own. He deserves his own spin-off series. I reckon.
He does.
Ranjit.
Random things like that, like recurring characters. I reckon they'll try and shove them in.
Definitely.
Should be interesting.
So, as per the last episode, we wanted to get some opinions from the Cinemates community on How I Met Your Father. So, we've got a mailbag here from Bennett, Bennett. We will see what he has to say about the show.
Hey Mike, thanks for having me on the podcast. I love How I Met Your Mother, so happy to share some thoughts about the spin-off. I hate to say it, but I've got some pretty big doubts, unfortunately. I just remember reading online somewhere that they're looking to do this show in sort of a modernised context with dating apps and technology, and I just don't think that premise is anywhere near as fun as what we had in the original, with sort of these spontaneous events happening at McLaren's. But look, I had a crush on Hilary Duff in primary school, so I hope for her sake it goes well, but unfortunately I just don't see it.
See? No disrespect to Hilary Duff. We're all big fans.
Wow. Great mailbag, Bennett.
That tied in really nicely. Guys, we didn't listen to that before.
We didn't.
That was really good.
No, I definitely agree. I think that modern age? Like, is it going to be on, like, Tinder and stuff?
Yeah,
like, how is that even going to work? Like, Hinge?
Oh, God.
Yeah, so great insight and takes there, Bennett. Thanks for sending that in. I think, especially having a crush on Hilary Duff, you know, maybe it'll be good, but yeah, no, it'll be interesting to say the least. So
yeah, I wonder how long it will last.
Yeah, like will it same sort of thing?
I wonder how long they've planned for.
Yeah, what ending have they planned for?
Anyway, so that is a wrap for the How I Met Your Mother episode. It will be very interesting to see where they go with the spin-off series when that comes out next year. So next episode, we'll be back with the Cinemaze elevator pitch, and I'll be giving my review of the recommendation by last episode's guest, Spencer, who recommended the TV show Dark. So stay tuned for that. Also, thank you so much for listening in to this episode of Cinemates, a podcast where a bunch of mates chat about cinema over some drinks. And a huge thank you to Jen for coming on to the podcast. We were a bit worse for wear today, but we got through it, so thank you.
Thanks for having me on, Mike. I had a really good time. Don't think I said anything really groundbreaking or profound, but, you know, hopefully we managed to scratch the surface a little. There's a lot to cover with How I Met Your Mother, but yeah, thank you.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure. As always, let us know what you want to hear about in future episodes, and if you want to ever send in a mailbag or do an elevator pitch to me, send us a DM on Instagram at cinemaze_. Otherwise, we will catch you for the next episode. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Cinemates. If you enjoyed it, you can follow us and leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all other major platforms. Also, if you haven't already, check out our Instagram and YouTube channel for more Cinemaze content and let us know what you thought of this episode. In the spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge Australia's first people as the traditional owners and custodians of the land and pay respect to the Cammeraygal people of the Eora Nation upon whose country Cinemaze is based. We honour the storytelling and culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities across Australia. Also, in the spirit of chatting with mates, remember it's always important to check in with those around you, whether it's friends, family, or colleagues. Sometimes they may be going through a hard time, and chatting with them may reassure that they aren't alone. If you or anyone you know is ever struggling, call Lifeline on 13 11 14.